Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Enrich Your Business Circle podcast. I'm your host, Rick Bennett, and today I am super excited for our special guest. We have Sebastian Uzcategui, who will be talking with us today on faith, business, and leadership. He's an entrepreneur, a trader, and the founder of Stocks University. And Sebastian really has shared how his journey has inspired him to start even his first business at the age of 16 to achieving financial freedom. So, with all ado, I would like to welcome Sebastian to the podcast on today. Sebastian, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's an honor to be here. I'm not at my usual setup. I'm sorry. I'm currently traveling. I'm in Madrid, Spain. But I had to make time for this conversation. I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. So part of our journey on this podcast is that we always like to get more of the backstory. I know you started your entrepreneur journey at the age of 16, but can you tell us more about what was your aha moment or what really inspired you to get started at the age of 16?
So you actually talked to me about Stocks Uni, which was my first business, but that's not really what I mostly talk about. What I
Okay.
talk about is my second business, which is Speak Up Express. And the reason why is because it's deeply tied to that aha moment. So my first business, Stocks Uni, was one that I spent a lot of time really struggling to build. It was my first real headstrong moment in business where I just threw myself entirely. I quit when I was 20 years old, a near six-figure job, just to go on my own and try to make my business succeed. And I didn't just quit. As a matter of fact, I quit and I told my manager to put me up for do not rehire. So I could never go back to work at that hotel or anywhere else similar to that. Never again. Not even a recommendation from there. So I was really out on my own. And that sounds like a very stupid decision. But it was a decision that forced me to find a solution, find what worked, and find success.
Mm.
Unfortunately, I didn't find that. I failed and failed and failed and failed and failed again. I dumped so much money into trying to get like my ads to work and social media and cold calling, a million different things. And I barely had any clients going through at all. Total failure. And just when I was at the end of my line, both my parents lost their jobs at the same time this year as well. And I was about to have to give up. Just when I was at the end of my line, I got invited to speak on stage. And I did that for the first time in my life. I got on stage, I spoke. I spoke about my passion. I spoke about my business. I spoke about the why for the first time. And that was the first time in my life where I experienced that overnight success. Almost everyone
Mm.
from that audience had signed up directly to my business. And I did it. I found that success. And it didn't come from ads, it didn't come from trying to take money from people. It came from speaking, from connecting passion and purpose. And most importantly, from talking about my business the way that I saw it, the vision that I had. That's what allowed people to align. And I discovered my biggest aha moment to answer your question. I discovered that the reason why so many businesses fail today, why I was failing today, is because we live in an authenticity drought. People are
Mm.
saturated. They will scroll through a million ads. They don't care anymore. So, how do you stand out? How do you solve that problem? You speak. And that's why I founded Speak Up Express, my public speaking agency to help other people do just that.
I love it, especially in this day and age with AI, because I use AI a lot. But what I'm finding is that one, people aren't thinking critically anymore. And then on top of that, we have people who are trying to clone themselves and they're not being authentic to even have that human connection. And I feel that in business, human connection is everything. You can have systems and automations and all of these different bolts and nuts in place, but without the human connection, you're going to fail. So I definitely agree with you on that, with speaking and being connect, having that different level of connection.
I totally agree. Yeah, not just that, but people don't realize that. Sure, AI is great, but people use it wrong, way wrong. As a matter of
Yes.
fact, there's businesses that are literally killing themselves because they're trying to use AI all wrong. People are
Mm-hmm.
using AI as a replacement when it's actually an amplifier. It can never
Right.
replace anything. As a matter of fact, we humans have you seen reception towards AI? People hate it, man. They hate it. They hate talking to AI bots. They hate when they go to like a website and everything is AI generated. People don't like that, man. Right? What you need to be doing is you utilizing AI in the back end. Utilize it
Mm-hmm.
to take care of busy work, right? Make yourself more efficient, but not replace the face of your business, which is the only thing that people care about anymore. That's the reason why in the last 10 years, we've seen 20 years actually, we've seen the explosion of personal brands and the death of many corporations because people
Yeah,
connect
I
with
I
people.
was I was telling someone a story about that because earlier in this month it was so weird. We had to have some construction done here at the house, and I called this plumbing company who had AI turned on for their stuff, and they was like, "Oh, well, we'll have someone out there immediately and get you an appointment scheduled." Is 1 o'clock in the morning the next day, no plumber because their system was not set up properly. And we ended up going with a whole nother company. And thankfully we went with another company instead of waiting on that plumber because it was chaos in our backyard from our plumbing system. And it ended up costing us almost $30,000 to get it resolved. But had we waited longer, it would have been even more because we were relying on a plumber who
Mhm.
had an AI system.
Well,
Um,
there it is, right? It's like I'm saying, right now, it's the biggest problem, especially in small businesses. Large businesses have kind of gotten it down. Most of corporations understand how to properly use AI,
mhm,
but this is a conversation for people that are looking to build their small businesses and actually achieve that level. And I'm telling you, you're going to choke yourself out if you try using AI the wrong way. Make your business or your brand as authentic and genuine as possible, and make it something that people can connect to and feel with,
mhm,
right? Because, like I said, people connect with people, and we're actually watching many corporations have to hire spokespersons nowadays, people that can go out and speak on their behalf, people can that can almost embody their business, right? Why do you think even things like Flo from Progressive, for example, or the guy, what's his name from State Farm, whatever. The point is, businesses are looking for people to represent them because
mhm,
corporations are literally dying out. There's three problems that have emerged in the last 20 years that have become the most expensive problems in the business world: connection, authenticity, and authority. And corporations cannot dump enough money to fix these problems. They're literally dying. We're seeing large corporations literally die because nobody cares about them anymore, right? So, how do you solve those three things all at once? And that is the key to success, really. I discovered that it is through speaking. Speaking solves every problem at the same time. When you're on a stage, you create the image of authority and presence, right? Just by being on stage. Eyes are
right.
on you. Psychological switch in your audience. Now they're listening when they weren't before. Now everyone wants to talk to you. I don't go to networking events unless I can be a speaker for that reason, because that's how I attract the most amount of people. It's almost like, instead of selling and going after another person as an individual, you are attracting, you're becoming this lighthouse for what you want to put out into the world. So people come to you naturally. So it solves the problem of authority. It solves the problem of authenticity because voice by nature must be backed by a genuine passion or purpose. And most importantly, it solves the problem of connection because people can resonate with your story. You talk about your struggles and you talk about what your vision is, people feel that. And that's what makes them take action. It's not numbers. It's not, people don't make decisions based on logic. You'd be surprised. They actually don't. Decisions based off of emotion. That's the
Right.
key.
And that's one of the biggest things I tell people also, when you're marketing yourself and you're branding yourself, especially for your brand, you don't always go off of the features. You go off of more of the benefits because your benefits will connect more with the emotion side of things than anything else because you're resolving a problem for someone. So if you're connecting to the pain or that emotion for that person, that's essential. And I definitely love the nugget that you dropped of going to the events as someone who's being a speaker versus just going to the event as someone who's in the audience, because you can be in the audience and don't transform anything, but when you're actually a speaker, you're not only be building relationships, but you're also transforming those who are around you.
Exactly right. And I always say every speaker is a leader and every leader is a speaker. If you're an entrepreneur, you will benefit in every way, shape, and form from being a speaker and really learning what that means, even if it's not for marketing purposes. The truth is, articulation is everything. I always say speaking is a superpower. It is divine. When you become an articulate person, let's just talk about internally first, right? It improves your life internally before anything else. You will become a happier person just by being more articulate because you can actually understand what ideas are going on here. I've
Right.
met so many people that I ask them, what do you want to do? What do you want to put out into the world? What do you want your business to be about? And they cannot tell me. They have this like cloud of ideas. They're passionate, sure, but they have no clue what they're even talking about. They can't articulate it internally. So how do you expect that to be externalized? Not possible. So even being a better speaker into your own mind helps you become more emotionally mature, helps you have better relationships with others, and most importantly with yourself. And now at an external level, in the same way that I'll ask you a question. Do you believe that presenting yourself properly is important? Looking your best and things like that. Do you believe in that?
Yes.
Yes. What people don't realize is that it's not about how you're dressed exclusively, it's also about how you speak. That carries speaking proper and articulately is divine. I mean, people pick up on that and they will receive you more highly. You'll be perceived as someone that's more intelligent, knowledgeable, has more authority in their field, and people will naturally gravitate towards you and doors will open around you. What I'm describing right now are the most basic benefits of articulation. If you want to talk about how to actually, wow, really take that and manifest and make the world move around you, like you're saying, impacting lives, right? The difference between talking and speaking is that when you're speaking, you're moving things in a direction. Talking is just yapping. Anyone can do that, right?
Yeah.
It's not hard to do. Anyone can talk crap, right? But when you're speaking, now you're moving people in a direction with your words, and your words are being injected with action. So when you take that as an entrepreneur into the world of business, first of all, let's talk about what happens in the business. All of your employees and your team, now they're receiving your vision better. Now they're actually behaving and moving on their own volition, not because you're making them do things. I don't micromanage my team at all. They are so passionate in the same way that I am that they will go above and beyond. I don't even ask them for things. They'll come to me like, hey, I edited this content, or hey, I made this presentation for us to use, or hey, I made all these. They do that by themselves, and I love it. And that's only inside my business. Outside, I'm speaking in front of hundreds of people at a time, and I'm becoming this beacon of what people want to come to instead of having to chase them. Do you like to read? Do you read philosophy by any chance?
Yeah, so I definitely
I
love
love that.
philosophy. And I definitely love the notes that you and nuggets that you just shared, because I one believe that the way you look is one layer of how you actually
Yes.
um present yourself, or gather the presence of the room. But then
Mhm.
the second layer is the way you speak or articulate yourself across to other people, because if you have that presence coming in and then you open your mouth and it comes
Yeah,
out as crap, then they're gonna be like, okay,
whatever.
and walk off.
Right.
But I definitely agree that there are layers to it.
Mhm.
And even with that, I love the fact that you created that level of culture within your business where, one, you don't have to micromanage, but people feel comfortable enough to be like, hey, I had this idea and I can come to you and present this idea that could possibly move the business forward, because a lot of business owners don't have that type of culture
Mhm.
within their companies, which
Exactly.
basically keep them in a employee mindset versus the
Amen.
employer mindset. So I
Exactly.
definitely love that.
Well, it may have seemed like a random question, but the reason why I asked you about philosophy is because one of my favorite quotes in philosophy comes from Marcus Aurelius, who says, if you spend your whole time chasing butterflies, they'll fly away. Instead,
Mm,
if you make yourself a garden, they will come to you. And I believe that businesses, especially small businesses, waste a lot of time in sales, in chasing, when they should spend more time attracting, right?
mm-hmm.
And that's why I talk about that beacon mindset, to be that lighthouse for other people to come to, as opposed to the other way around. And so that applies to everything. You're talking about one of the most important things. culture, being trapped in this employee mindset, right? And it's because you're still thinking about doing everything yourself. I'll ask you a question. Is the majority of your audience entrepreneurs? Is that the case?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say the single best word of advice I could possibly give to entrepreneurs, especially early in their journey, right? And this is coming from someone that owns two businesses. I mean, I'm traveling full time. I work from wherever I want. Um, and the best thing that I realized as an entrepreneur is your only job is to have a vision and articulate it. That's it, right? Because nobody else can do that. You'd be surprised. I mean, people are like shocked. What about the hard work? What about being a marketing expert? What about this or that? No, not your job. Get over it. You're not the employee. It is not your job. Your job is to have a vision, to be a spearhead of that vision, a general, a crusader of what it is that you want to put out into the world and articulate it so that you create a movement. You are not a business owner. You are the owner of a movement, a massive change that you're looking to put out into the world. That's how you have to visualize what you're doing. And if your business, if you're telling me that, oh, I just sell this or that, it's not enough. It's not going to cut it in today's world. Tell me about why you're selling that. Tell me about what it means for you to sell that. Tell me about what that's going to change in the world. What do you want to happen in people's lives when they work with you? That is what makes you or separates you from being that self-employed or even a business owner, which doesn't mean anything to me, to being an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is not the same as oh, I own a business, I'm rich or whatever. Not the same. Entrepreneur is about passion, purpose, and vision. So yes, you're absolutely right. Having your culture down right, having your priorities down right. Understand that your job is to be a leader above all things. And like I always say, every leader is a speaker, and every speaker is a leader without exception.
And I definitely love that because of when I'm working with clients, I always tell them that you have to be the embodiment of your
Yes.
XYZ statement. Like if you can't walk into your XYZ statement and find yourself in each aspect of it, then how can you actually push others forward to get the results that you want them to have at the end of the day? And I definitely see a lot of people who are in the market that focus so much on sales, and they're cold calling, they're cold emailing, and then they're paying so much money on ads, not and wondering where or when they're going to get a ROI. But then if you look at their content or look at everything that represents them is out of order.
hmm Exactly right, and that's the one thing people look for at the end of the day. Nobody is ever going to listen to you if you don't practice what you preach. But there's something way more important than just practicing it. It's living it. It's being it. Right. I don't even want for people to talk to me about something if they haven't. For example, what you see a lot of the time, or even one of the reasons why I had such a hard time with my first business was because I'm talking about things like finance in stocks uni, but I was still very young and I had a lot to prove, right? So when that business started changing was when I started embodying what I wanted to put out into the world with that, right? And that applies to everything. I believe that if you are talking, for example, you've got a business about connecting people to stages with your podcast, empowering voices, right? Well, you yourself have to be a speaker. You yourself have to have a voice, and you yourself have to be passionate and articulate, right? Otherwise, you're not walking the talk, and that is what the first thing people notice, right? Very important, and I think that's something that every entrepreneur should take something away from that, right? Whatever you're going to do, you need to be the testament of that first. People need to believe you through seeing you. Very important.
I definitely agree with that because I've had a different variety of guests to come on the show, and I know some of them are just getting started, but you can definitely tell when they're still in their phase of figuring themselves out and used to actually speaking and
hmm
being connected to other people versus people who aren't like in that startup phase, and they can build that connection and flow into what it is that they're putting out and teaching and educating people on. And
Exactly
I've
right.
even seen that even from people who are transitioning from 9 to 5 careers to actually trying to be a business owner. So I guess my question for you would be, for those who are transitioning over careers, um, who are wanting to be business owners or visionaries and build a business, what would you say they need to start with first so that they can be an efficient and effective speaker?
Well, I don't even think speaking is a first step. I
Okay.
think developing a vision is a first step. Once you have something, and again, this is a counterproductive thing for me to say as a speaking agency owner. You might imagine that I would want to tell, oh, everyone come to me and be a speaker. No, 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 no. I want to give genuine advice first. And so my genuine advice to anyone that is looking to transition into business, first and foremost, the most important thing I could ever say is take action and take bold action and take action now, right? Stop
Mhm.
thinking about what you want to do and just do something. The hardest step is the first step. Most people
Mhm.
are stunned because they're standing at the beginning of this long road of a lot of difficulty, a lot of obstacles that they know is ahead of them in their dream and passion. And they just stand there at the beginning of the road, just looking at it and looking at it and looking at it and thinking about it and never really walking in on it. And it creates this anxiety that is going to
Mhm.
building up because you know you haven't started yet. So take any step, literally anything. Find a guy that's going to make you a website or design a product, launch a page, just do something, anything, and you'll realize that gets the ball rolling. Okay, that's the first word of advice. The second thing, to once you've actually done that, to begin to see success, your real priority needs to be on finding out how to even talk about your business and what it is, right?
Mhm.
Have a conversation with yourself. Make it as short and sweet as possible of the easiest way to word your business, right? What it is that you're looking to do, what is the goal, and what it is. If you can articulate that, believe me, it's shocking how many people 2 3 years into their small businesses aren't even able to do that. They say like this mess, like they word vomit a million different things and it makes no sense. Hate to say it, but that's the truth, right? So how do you expect other people to buy something that you don't even know what it is? It's funny to say, and you might not even imagine that this is an important key to success, but it's huge. Articulate what it is first, and that is going to guide the rest of your action. Because now, if I know what my product is and I know how to communicate it properly, now I can market it properly. Now I can make my website properly. I can put the main important things on there. I can actually make a product that's going to be appealing to people because people are not going to find something that they don't understand appealing. Short,
Right.
sweet, and strong. If you can articulate your business in a sentence, that's it. That's going to guide the rest of your direction.
I definitely love that because I always tell people you have to have your XYZ statement. Is one
Yes.
sentence telling who you are, who you help, and what kind of results you offer in that process. And I tell people also that picture you're on the elevator. You only got less than a minute to tell someone what you do.
Yep.
What can you say or articulate about what you're doing that can actually grab their interest in that time frame? And that's the biggest thing because a lot of people who I've worked with, especially around their messaging when it comes to us building their websites and things like that, they'll tell me, "Well, this is what we do." And then it's like a big long paragraph and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Can you just give me one sentence of what you're doing?"
Yeah.
And I have this worksheet that I literally send them where they have to sit down and break that down into one sentence for us so we can make sure that we're reaching their goals.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And it's just so funny when I see it happen because it happens a lot. It shouldn't even be a sentence, honestly. Do you have an idea how fried our brains are now with TikTok and Reels and everything? We can't even process a sentence. We need like 4 words max, right? And it's funny. But it's very true. And I know what I see happen because I, of course, work with many public speakers. Those are my main clients. And uh, I have to tell so many of them, so many of them, I know you're passionate. So when I ask you about something, you give me like a 5 minute spiel, and I'm going to be honest, you're paying me to care about it, but I don't care about it. I'll be very honest with them. And I tell them, listen, let's do an exercise. And it's something that people listening can actually practice on their own. Go over these 5 points that I'm about to say. And chances are the first time you try, it's going to take you 30 minutes to an hour. Try to do it again, get it under 15. Do it again, get it under 5. Do it again, get it done in 1 minute or less. And if you can master these 5 talking points in less than a minute, what you're going to notice is that doors all around you are going to open. Because now when you talk to people, you're speaking not longer, but you're speaking harder. You're short, you're sweet, and you're powerful. That's what moves people everywhere around you. So here are the 5 points. Introduction as a hook. I don't want to hear, hi, my name is this and I do this. Not impactful. Talk to me about not who you are, right? But what you're doing and why, right? So introduction as a hook. That's the first talking point. Your second thing is, again, in just a single sentence, tell me about, I tell people all the time, when you're introducing yourself, especially on stage, it's never effective to say, hi, my name is this, and I'm going to talk to you about this. You lose people,
I tell
right?
people to say at like whatever your profession is, I'll tell them to start with that. I'll say like as a marketer,
Hmm.
we do this,
Very good.
but never your name. So that's one of the biggest things I always tell people I work with, just so that they're not wasting that first 15 seconds on a name.
Exactly right. And on stage, it's extremely ineffective. So I tell people all the time. As a matter of fact, it's maybe even a little awkward, but when I get on stage, I don't even say my name until sentence three or four. I start off and I'm like, there's two good ways of starting a speech, and it's asking a question or telling a story, right? So I'll do the same thing when I'm going through those 5 points. Introduction as a hook can be something as simple as, hi, tell me about what you do. A question as an introduction. Now, point number two, now this is actually the who you are and what you do. One sentence. My name is Sebastian Uzcategui and I'm a public speaker. That's it, right? And then comes point number three, right? What is a problem that you're looking to solve? People only work or are only going to take action with you based on urgency, right? So, introduction as a hook, who you are in one sentence, the problem that you're looking to solve, right? Why that problem is important, that's number four, and a call to action, what you recommend for people to do. Those are the 5 points that you go through, okay? So, those last three, and the call to action is very important too, because that's kind of how you wrap up your point. Hey, and I'll go through them in literally a minute here with you, right? Introduction as a hook. Rick Dorica, I'm sorry, did I say that correctly? Rick,
Uh, it
what
was
was that? I'm
close.
so sorry.
It's
Rodrigo,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. I'm so sorry. I would ask you, right? What is your biggest problem in business?
I actually don't feel like I have a problem in business.
You don't think you have a main problem in business. What would you have to say has been your biggest problem previously?
Previously, one of the biggest problems I had was hiring the right team.
Hmm. What about leading that team?
Leading that team, now that I have the right people, it's not much that we have to do when it comes to leading because I'm not really a micromanager. I
Hmm.
actually have a manager who's over that team, and then we do like a weekly check in.
Okay, I see. So you've become a very effective leader of those people, and you hire the right people, and you got them to actually understand your vision properly.
And
Excellent.
I think previously for me, when it came to like hiring a team, I was trying to help friends and family that
Mhm.
didn't really see my vision. So I had to actually transition to not worry about helping friends and family, but hire people who can actually see the vision and move forward in the vision.
Okay, perfect. So you were that leader of your vision and everything, right?
Hmm.
So that is, for an example, how we do an introduction as a hook. In a conversation, it's very different than what I would do it on stage. But the point is, there is, I'm asking you a question, especially a question that is bringing to your mind the subject that I want to talk about, which in this case is business, right? Then I would tell you, my name is Sebastian Uzcategui. I'm a public speaker. And the reason why I'm a public speaker is because it is the single most important thing that businesses need to succeed, or that anyone needs to succeed. So I always encourage everyone to learn how to develop their public speaking skills and show them how that's going to make their businesses absolutely explode. I can do that in a minute or an hour. It depends on what I'm asked to speak about and how long I have, right?
Okay.
But that's my point. Learning to be very quick, smooth, and to the point on what it is that you want to communicate about is extremely important. So, going back to really the main question that we spent like 10 minutes on is that's what you need to do. Those 5 points, figure them out as a business owner if you're looking to transition into that world.
Okay. I definitely think that's amazing to have in place, especially under your belt, because there are a lot of people who can't do it. And then a lot of people are leaning so much towards AI to develop those thought processes for them, and then they'll send you something over that's like a full paragraph that should be like 3 or 4 paragraphs. And if it's longer than 15 words, it's no longer a sentence. And I have to remind people that this is a run on sentence that you've developed trying to cram everything that's not really you.
Hmm. Exactly. And I think that you can never build a business from something that isn't backed by you. As a matter of fact, most of the problems that people have when they're speaking, or the reason why they aren't able to articulate well, is because their voice is not backed by who they are. And sometimes even their
Mhm.
business is not backed by who they are. So I'll tell you this right now, and every entrepreneur listening, and I know we're running on time, um, but I'll tell them most entrepreneurs early on in their career, they make the biggest mistake of dreaming of cars, watches, clothes, and houses. And I have a simple question. If this applies to you, I want to ask you a simple question. Where are you in that vision? Because the truth is, all of entrepreneurship is based on vision, right? And if your vision is rooted on just the material things, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a material business, and people aren't going to care about that, right? It's not about what you want, it's about who you want to be and what you want to do. Those are the simple two questions you need to ask yourself. Stop talking about what you want. I know you want cars. Everyone wants cars. I know you want nice watches. Everyone does too. But what makes you special is who you truly are under all of that stuff. And that's going to really guide your decision in business and what business you want to start. So, really, the greatest word of advice I can give is ask yourself those questions and simply start. Take a step and move. Stop looking at the road and thinking about walking it and start just walking it.
Awesome. I love it. And especially stop trying to be social media rich. That's how I classify it. Because everybody on social media, even though they're posting those things, one, they may not have to pay for it themselves because they got brand endorsements, or two, they're just putting something on social media that they've rented or something like that that isn't even the real them or the real background of them. So I
Mhm.
definitely agree. You have to have a purpose that drives your business so that you can actually be empowered for success. And Sebastian, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast on today. This has been amazing. And the tips that you dropped on today are very impactful if people actually take advantage of them and actually leverage it so that they can have purpose in their business. And for those who want to reach out to you or connect with you, how can they do so?
Well, actually, right here where it says founder of SpeakUp.Express, that is the link to my website. And people are actually able to schedule times directly with me one on one, which I
Okay.
want. People usually don't offer that, or when they do, they'll charge like $500 for it, and I think it's kind of stupid because I love talking to people. I love hearing about where they want to go, what their vision is, what their business is, and what their goals are at the end of the day, and how I can help them with that. So just go to speakup.express. It is not speakup.com. The domain is .express, and you'll see the link there. Schedule a time with me directly.
Awesome. And to all of our listeners, thank you for listening in on today. I hope that you continue to build a purpose driven business that will empower you so that you can succeed on your journey as an entrepreneur. Until next time, stay in your faith, stay in your freedom, and stay with success.